It's a quick 2-hour jaunt from the campus of VCU to Washington, D.C., where the VCU Rams, led by Jaquan Lewis, there's no time for sightseeing. They're here to take on the Colonials of GW, and they're trying to advance a 4-game winning streak.
Michael Jordan. They won it! Wow! Oh, my goodness! How about that? Oh, boy! Unbelievable! Dreams to come true. As good as it gets.
Our Wednesday showcase has us at the Smith Center on the campus of George Washington, where the VCU Rams, winners of 4 in a row, get set to take on the George Washington Colonials. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Jordan Cornett. We'll hear from Evan Washburn in just a little bit. VCU is coming off one of the wackiest victories, an overtime win against St. Bonaventure. You were there. We've asked everybody with VCU if they've ever seen anything like that victory, and they say no way.
Seen a lot of things, Tom. I'm still shaking my head trying to figure out what happened. But if you're the Rams, you got to flush it. You got to put it in the rearview mirror. You need another gritty performance on the road in what figures to be a fantastic environment here with the team against you. Can you get it done? You're competing for a championship.
Yeah, Will Wade says that he hopes there's no hangover for his team, and he certainly hopes there's no hangover for Justin Tillman, who's been lights out.
Yeah, Justin Tillman was a big reason why this Rams team came at it down the stretch and had a chance to win against St. Bonaventure, ultimately getting it done. He's a long athlete. He's fantastic in the open floor. An extra step on a man's ladder, simplifies the game going down low, but he also gives you the second chance opportunities, which is a big trademark for this VCU ball club.
He'll be covered tonight by Tyler Cavanaugh. Cavanaugh is the go-to guy for GW.
Cavanaugh, Tom, tougher than a $2 steak. I absolutely love this guy. He embraces the physicality. He's logged a lot of minutes in college basketball. He's a leader, the guy this team looks to be the catalyst to get things going. At home, he's going to have a better game. Was in foul trouble in the first matchup. Saddled with those fouls, only 6 points. He has to play clean basketball and be productive.
Well, he said he has to be a smarter ball player this time against VCU. We'll get set for this 8-10 matchup. Jaquan Lewis has been great. So is Tillman. What will Will Wade have in store for the Colonials and Maurice Joseph? We'll find out.
The average age of a homeless person is...
Certainly some scenery here in Washington, D.C. as George Washington heads out onto the floor looking for a victory against VCU. Here are the standings in the Atlantic 10. So VCU finds itself a half game behind Dayton. Dayton will take on Rhode Island in a huge matchup on Friday night. And there's GW right in the middle of the pack. Will Wade was very energetic at shoot-around today for the VCU Rams. In fact, he told his team, we need good energy. 42 wins as the head coach of the Rams. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. Now, VCU has tinkered with its starting lineup. They put Dowdy and Brooks in the lineup at the same time just to get better starts against the opposition. Meanwhile, for GW, Jair Bolden making his 6th start. He and Jaron Cena will make up the backcourt for the most part for Maurice Joseph's team. Maurice Joseph, the interim coach, comes in with 12 victories, taking over from Mike Lonergan in September. This guy, Evan, is an unbelievable story, so composed and so full of stories.
It really is an impressive story. And you mentioned Will Wade as well in that shoot-around today. His final message to his guys was separate yourselves with how you play on the road and how you win on the road. And while they've been pretty good, 5-2 away from Richmond, Wade's been really disappointed with how they've played defense on the road, allowing the opposing team's top player to go off on them a number of times. Now, on the flip side, you mentioned Joseph, a wrinkle to how they'll handle VCU's pressure in this game. Jair Bolden and Jaron Cena will act as those primary ball carriers to help break this press, guys.
Well, and that's something that we saw in Rhode Island a couple weeks ago, but Cena had the ball most of the time. We'll see if that changes here tonight. Watanabe is at center court to jump against Mo Alley Cox, and VCU will take possession to start tonight's ball game. We will see a lot of zone. In fact, zone from both teams from time to time. Tillman was open for the 3. It's not his game to take that 3-pointer. Here's Here's Dowdy, right side of the lane, slips it to Tillman, off the glass, it's good, and right out of the chute, he gets into the scoring column.
Allows VCU to set that defense, set that full court pressure, and really try to dial it up, disrupt things that George Washington likes to do offensively.
Maurice Joseph said, listen, if we can get past the initial press, we'll be fine if we can get them into a half-court defensive sets.
Yeah, that's the challenge. Can you withstand that initial thrust of defense and get into your stuff in the half-court?
Here's Toro facing up against Tillman, called for the traveling violation. Well, penetration was a key, according to Will Wade, against GW.
I mean, just good execution to get the effective, efficient basket. This is the team that chases the three-point shot. They pursue twos at the rim.
1 minute into tonight's game, VCU on top by 2. 18 wins, 8-2 in the conference. Dowdy for 3, no good. And Kavanaugh pulls down his first rebound. He averages over 7 per game. They swing it along the perimeter. Watanabe had it for a moment, wanted it again down low. Has it in the corner. His lefty 3 is too strong. They need a big game from Watanabe. He's been up and down offensively for GW.
Watanabe was the guy in the first matchup, posting 17 points. Really gave the lift with Kavanaugh in foul trouble.
Dowdy with his second 3. This one is good. The redshirt freshman from Philadelphia. They're going to try to press Bolden as much as possible. He's number 3. Breaks the press with Kavanaugh. This is a young George Washington team, but they have a very good home court advantage, 9-2 this year, as Bolden is fouled going to the baskets.
As VCU's grown accustomed to, there's good crowds that chase them everywhere on the road. Everybody gets geared up to knock off the Rams, who become a gold standard of sorts in this A-10. So George Washington has a crowd behind him. Can they deliver?
Yeah, Will Wade was laughing today when he saw the white T-shirts laying on the seats. It is a whiteout here tonight at the Smith Center. Foul was on Jaquan Lewis. It sends Bolden to the free throw line. He gets a nice roll off the front of the rim. A 67% free throw shooter. So how about that? Lewis checks out almost immediately as Williams checks in.
Yeah, Williams is an incredibly physical guard. At his size, doesn't have it in height, but he makes up for it in physicality. Another guy that applies that pressure defensively, but a fierce penetrator as well, a playmaker with the ball in his hands.
GW settles for 1 make, 1 miss. Little zone now by the Colonials. 2-3 zone. They're known for their 1-3-1, but Maurice Joseph told us today that he was probably going to go 2-3 a little bit more. Williams too strong. Kavanaugh with a second rebound.
A little bit of oxygen there. The thinking from Coach Joseph in terms of implementing that 2-3, make this VCU team shoot you out of it. Make them knock down shots. It's not a strength. They like to get to the rim, so make them think it and find it in gaps. But usually they'll settle for the jump shot, which is advantage George Washington.
Well, that was a tough shot by Kavanaugh. Dowdy's already got 1 assist and 1 bucket. He gives it up to Williams up top. Williams to Mo Alley Cox. Look out as he rolls it off the rim, no good. And he gets his own rebound. Now Tillman short on the 5-footer. Kavanaugh already with 3 boards on the defensive ends. Jaron Cena with a tough reverse, and the putback is there for Toro. The lead is 2 for VCU. Dowdy tried the alley-oop to Tillman, caught in a double team. Dowdy very composed for a redshirt freshman. Here's Doug Brooks up top. Fresh 30 for VCU. Dowdy will take his 3rd 3 of the night, and he's 1 for 3 out of the chutes. And Brooks is called for the foul, stumbling into Toro.
And get used to it when that ball goes up. It's a dogfight, Tom, to get it. But here you go in transition. Cena can't get it, but like all big men are taught, rim runs. Finish at the rim, clean it up. Toro, a fantastic job. But that last sequence, you get a little taste of what this game's going to be about. You're going to force them into 3-point shots. Okay, that's great. That's what you want to do, George Washington. But then you got to punctuate the play by grabbing that rebound, getting out and go. That'll be the challenge all night long.
Saw the numbers pop up. VCU so far 2 of 9 from the floor. Meanwhile, GW 2 of 5 from the floor, and we're tied up at 5.
Bolden as that second handler on the floor gives this team a new dynamic they did not have in the first matchup when they got blown out.
Dowdy called for the offensive foul as Colin Smith off the bench steps in. Well, it's been action-packed. 15:54 to play here in the first half.
Both teams have brought the energy. Tom, you know how much I love it. How about a freshman to get you started? Dialing from distance and from one freshman to another off the bounce, getting busy. The step back. We got a tie ball game here in DC.
Well, everybody needs a mascot that can dance a little bit. Our Wednesday showcase finds us here at the Smith Center on the campus of George Washington, where we're tied up at 5. Jordan, let's run through your keys to the game.
VCU's at their best defensively when they're getting takeaways, translating defense into offense. Also, it's in their DNA to dominate the paint. Physical specimens in those jerseys that can own the game there. They want to be plus 12 in every contest. For George Washington, neutralize that backboard. You see that VCU's going to shoot it and go get it. Can you eliminate second chance opportunities? If so, you got a good shot. And then finally, establish your star power. Yuta Watanabe had a good game in the first matchup when Kavanaugh was saddled with those fouls. He has to be a guy in attack mode against this very intense Rams defense.
You just got a shot of Jaquan Lewis, who's been on the bench for the last minute or so with a foul. He was taken out quickly as Kavanaugh goes to the basket. And the foul is called against VCU, and already they have way more team fouls.
Yeah, this is a physical move. This is how you have to attack that defense. Kavanaugh trying to cancel Christmas with that drive, but that's got to be the mentality when you go off the bounce. This VCU team blessed with rim protectors that will alter and block shots. You got to go strong, and a lot of times they're in it from the free throw line. You go soft, that's a shot block going the other way.
Well, that foul is called against Tillman. Kavanaugh to the free throw line, and for a big man shooting 86%. So Hamdi Mohammed will check into the game for VCU. Tillman will check out. So you've got Tillman on the bench. We laid out what he's done. He's averaging 12.5 overall. And you have Jaquan Lewis on the bench. He's averaging 14.7 as Mo Alley Cox is fouled from behind. There's Tillman.
I like this from George Washington. I think you should be on the offensive while defending as well. Try and extend it, shorten the shot clock against VCU, settle back into that zone, and again, test them to knock down jump shots.
GW's on a 6-0 run after VCU started up 5-0. Again, the zone. Williams off the screen set by Mo Alley Cox. Burgess can shoot it, so can Crawford. He has the ball right now. They get it to the middle for Mo Alley Cox. Williams for 3. No good. Dedden's off the side of the rim. Mo Alley Cox with the rebound. That's what George Washington does not want. Well, that's a tough finish. And Kavanaugh with the rebound off the hands of GW and out of bounds.
Now look, Tom, defensively, George Washington is doing the job. They're making them jump shooters. What they're failing at, my key pregame, you gotta rebound. You got to eliminate second chance opportunities from VCU. You're getting them to take the bad shot. You got to finish the play and grab the rebound. They haven't been able to grab clean ones, giving the Rams chance after chance after chance.
Here's Mo Alley Cox inside. Double team with Watanabe on him. It goes out of bounds. It'll be GW basketball.
Alley Cox, who typically has such a good feel for the double team, looked like he wasn't prepared for Watanabe to come, too hesitant to deliver and get rid of it. Can't allow that defense to congeal.
Jaron Cena for 3. It's good. GW. Remember, last time these two teams faced each other was 85-55 VCU. Will Wade said all he needs to do is point to a George Mason doubleheader last year where they blew him out in game 1 and then lost by 7 in game 2 to get his team's attention. Burgess puts it on the floor and a blocking foul called on Watanabe. Jaron Cena did a really nice job on the last possession for GW.
Cena's a guy who's a playmaker. He's blocked a lot of minutes himself as a player. A cheat from Hamdi allows him to get that space, and all he needs is a sliver of a window. And he gets it going. This George Washington team feeling herself early on.
2 team fouls for GW. Brofield for 3, too strong, out of bounds.
oxygen.
Ball was touched last by Burgess.
I'll tell you what Coach Wade hates more than anything, the three-point shot from his Rams team. Their identity, down low in the trenches, and they're out here like they're regular Steph Curry's, bombing away from distance. 1 of 5, exactly what George Washington wants right now.
Well, VCU is scoreless over the last 4 minutes plus. Steves, who's in the game for the first time, gets it to Colin Smith. Smith short on that hook shot, but gets his own rebound, stolen away by Williams. Williams peeking to Mo Alley Cox instead for Burgess for 3, good. Well, that'll quiet things a little bit. The first points for VCU in 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Nice move to get open for a moment. And man, the nylon barely moved on that three-pointer. GW on top. Hamdi Mohammed aggressive in the paint and called for a traveling violation. GW starting to hit some threes here.
Yeah, they're not a three-point team. The best way to get it is when you're in transition, but the response from the three, George Washington bold knocking down one of his own, and that's not really his game. He's a better driver. He does have the ability to do so, but matching the Rams with a three-pointer of his own.
Jordan rolling into the game for the first time, number 14. Steve sets the high screen. Cena brushes it off. Williams on Rowland. Rowland's a good offensive player. Shot clock is at 7. Shot clock is at 3. Cena leans it toward the basket, no good. And Hamdi with the rebound, and the ball is stolen by Cena. That was just a lazy pass. For 3, that's a tough shot, no good. He probably should have worked it around the perimeter a little bit more.
Yeah, you could tell he wanted a shot in that possession. He got the steal, created the extra opportunity. He was going to try and make it play.
Brofield keeps in. They continue to work it around the perimeter, does VCU. Williams sealed off, goes to the basket, lays it in. I'll tell you, Hamdi Mohammed did a nice job sealing his man off and providing a path.
Allowing his size to play to his advantage. Almost like a screen of sorts, just creating that path to the rim.
Colin Smith high post knocked away by Hamdi. And Smith has it stripped away by Burgess. You were a big man. Did you go outside and dribble in a lot?
Yeah, you know what, I expected Coach to blow the whistle and sub me out. Yeah, at 6'10", that's not Collins. 6'11", that's not Smith's game. Pass it, get back down there and post.
Is this too frenetic a pace for GW right now?
No, because they're not turning it over. They're taking care of that basketball. They're getting past that initial thrust. This is a very gifted offensive team with a lot of viable weapons, like a Watanabe, who can't connect there, but they're okay playing fast. Just they have to be able to take care of the basketball while doing so.
Ball never hit the rim. Shot clock is at 3. Cena at the free throw line. Rowland lets it fly. No good. It would have counted. Nearly halfway through this first half. Not a whole lot of points. Hamdi backing his way in. Tough shot with his left hand. VCU just looks a tick or two off right now offensively.
Yeah, a little out of rhythm there. Their go-to guy, Jaquan Lewis, on the bench. I don't think Coach liked his energy coming out to start. I think that's disrupted rhythm. He's a guy that dominates the basketball a lot and gets things going for this offense.
Yeah, he's a guy who's made 59 threes, and he's been sitting for about 8 minutes. Williams has been playing during that time. Here comes Steves, and now he says, let's slow it up. Tillman's on the bench. Lewis is on the bench. Lewis has sat longer than Tillman has. The foul called on Colin Smith. Well, without Jaquan Lewis, who is now checking back in, VCU is down by 2 and still looking for a little offense here in D.C. We mentioned during the Open VCU's victory over St. Bonaventure this past weekend. Leading for most of the game, VCU fell behind with just a half second left in regulation. Matt Mobley sank this three-pointer. St. Bonaventure was up 66-65. The team and the fans thought the game was over, and the Bonnies were assessed a one-shot administrative technical foul. Jaquan Lewis hit the free throw to force overtime. Then in OT, Lewis hit this three to go up 79-74 with 1:49 left, and VCU wins it 83-77. It was a crazy game. Evan Washburn, we've been trying to find somebody who has seen something like that. Not many folks have seen something like that.
Tom, no, not at all. And in response to the way that game ended, the Atlantic 10 Conference sent out an official clarification of end-of-game officiating on Sunday. And what they pointed to was, while the administrative technical was correct, the rationale that it was in regards to crowd interference, that was incorrect. They pointed to multiple reasons, most notably a security guard picking up the ball that VCU was planning on inbounding from their baseline as the main reason for the technical. And they also added in that statement, guys, that the officiating crew would be disciplined for not handling the disruption properly.
And it looked like Doug Brooks, who inbounded the basketball, he has the ball in the corner right now for VCU. He knew that there was going to be a technical assessed. He actually called for it when he finally grabbed the basketball from the security guard. Well, as Will Wade said, a win is a win.
Yeah, he'll take it.
But he did say he was madder at his team after that game and the subsequent days than many other victories this year.
Absolutely.
Just because of the way they played. Tillman and Lewis, by the way, are back in the game. Maybe Lewis's presence can help the VCU offense. 4 of 18 from the floor. Here's Dowdy inside to Hamdi. Hamdi is able to sweep it in.
Now that's the sublime thought process, thinking and execution from the freshman Dowdy, who head fakes the three, a couple probing dribbles to commit the defense, then kicks it to the place where you really collapse the defense, the middle of the paint, allowing Hamdi the easy shot.
VCU has outscored GW 6-2 in the paint so far. Shot clock is down to 10. Kavanaugh to Cena, and Cena's unable to connect, and Watanabe pulls down the board. Watanabe leaves it down low. Up top to Kavanaugh, long three, no good, and Brooks with the board. Brooks with his second three attempt. That one's no good as well. And the rebound by Kavanaugh has had himself a productive first half. That's his 4th rebound. Well, GW is scoreless in the last 5 minutes plus. Only 24 points combined between these two teams. Marfo steps to the paint. Kavanaugh with the rebound. Back to Marfo. Same shot, no good. And it never hit the rim, so the shot clock winds down.
Yeah, Kavanaugh on that rebound. You got to go back up with it and finish. You want to finish. How about Hamdi, the big fella for the Rams? He's got one of his own. Loitering on the low block, hanging right place, right time. An opportunistic floater to go. We're evenly matched.
Well, this has not been a particularly good offensive game for either GW or VCU. Hey, it's only pure all-star event in pro rodeo, featuring the sport's biggest starts, fastest times, and highest scores. The PRCA Wrangler Champions Challenge, presented by Justin Boots, returns to CBS Sports Network Sunday at 10:30 Eastern, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. All right, so speaking of offensive numbers, GW and VCU have combined to go 9 of 38 from the floor so far in this first half. I mean, how do you fix that if you're either one of these teams?
Well, for VCU, the remedy is an obvious one. You got to get away from the three-point line. It's not what you do. You have to establish yourselves down low. Now, George Washington has a rugged front line that can compete, but they're younger guys outside of Kavanaugh, so you do still have the advantage there. VCU has to get back to the trenches. For George Washington, too much standing around offensively. Need more player movement to make that defense commit to you and do something.
GW is into a man-to-man. It looks like Tillman is fouled going up. And he'll go to the free throw line for VCU.
Fading away from 15 feet. There's no reason for Bolden to try and be a hero. Let him take that shot. Plays to the percentages of the defense. Look, you got him fading away. No real good looking rhythm right here. Great defense from Toro. Selfish defense is what a coach calls that. Trying to make the hero play when your team has done the job.
This is the first free throw of the night for VCU, and Tillman is able to connect. Tillman 63% from the line, and he makes both free throws.
Interesting how he steps in on the second free throw. Just the catch and shot. Everybody has their own rhythm.
It's kind of like Jack Gibbs from Davidson, who does that so well. So a quiet 6-0 run for VCU. They're up by 2. Cena's connected on only one shot. Gets it inside to a cutting Rowland, and Rowland is able to lay it in. Jordan Rowland's been a spark off the bench for this Colonials team over the last few games. Brooks open for 3. And it's no good. Kavanaugh knocks it out, but gets it to Dowdy for VCU. And the ball is deflected by Kavanaugh to Cena.
Now you got to attack. You got numbers.
GW certainly has numbers. Bolden right to the rim, lays it in. Smart.
Good read initially from Cena to see the double team. Pass over the top to the middle at the timeline, and then it's advantage Colonials.
2-point lead for GW. Cox hasn't gotten rolling just yet, and Cox jams it home.
Mo problems down low. There's not a body in this conference that can compete with him in the trenches. You got to establish him. He has to be a lighthouse and an option every time down the floor.
Well, those are his first points. He's now 2 away from 1,000 for his career. Bolden's 3 is no good. Rowland's putback is no good. And the rebound by Mo Cox, the outlet to Lewis. Lewis off the high screen. And now Dowdy resetting the offense. Inside to Mo Cox, who has it stripped down low. And a battle for the loose ball, and Bolden, the freshman, comes up with it. And it's a jump ball. The possession goes to GW. Well, one thing we've learned about Mo Cox, when he has it down low, you got to stay out of the way.
I mean, this is good footwork, too. The reverse pivot and a 24-karat finish. That's just a big-time play, and that's where his game has evolved. The footwork and the execution. He used to just be a bruiser, shot blocker, rebounder. As his game has evolved, he's that guy you could go down low to and has an array of different moves to challenge the defender.
Sitting on 998 points for his career. We head toward the 5-minute mark here in the first half. Bolden caught the double team. They worked on that at shoot-around today. Said, let's get to him if he has it in tough spots. And Watanabe knocks it out of bounds. Maurice Joseph, as the interim head coach, has had to learn a lot of things facing up and on the sidelines, and one thing is working the officials a little bit.
Yeah, he has to earn that. He's still doing the game, but he does have that respect from his players, no question. When we see in shoot-arounds and in practices, he'll get there with the officials. You got to log a few more years on the sideline. Sharp guy, though.
Matt Hart checks in for GW. Mo Cox checks out for VCU, and Hamdi checks back in for the Rams. Jaquan Lewis for 3, and no good. And Kavanaugh pulls down the rebound. Kavanaugh now has 6 rebounds in this first half. He's already taken a big step forward because he's not in foul trouble. He'll take a 3 way downtown. Well, the man does have range from anywhere on the floor. Came in with 1,466 points.
He stays locked in, Tom. It hasn't come easy for him, but he continues to compete. Established himself on the backboard, a rhythm 3-point shot, and now he's in this game offensively.
Toro called for the foul. Kavanaugh, the transfer from Wake Forest, in his second year with GW. And Off Toro's foul. Hamdi to the free throw line. Makes the first. Jordan Burgess is in. Tillman is out. Williams is in. Lewis is out. Second shot is good. So Will Wade's team is within one. I'm not sure if this is the way he envisioned his offense here tonight. But his defense has been good too.
His defense, bend but don't break, and that's the Rams too. Hang around, not playing their best basketball, but still right there in striking distance.
Cena bounce pass to Kavanaugh. Boy, that was a tough pass. And he'll get a couple of free throws.
Tyler Kavanaugh, a versatile piece when you have him. The Colonials always have a shot. He does it inside, but right here, guys don't dive anymore. The big men, they like the three ball. Kavanaugh, a little bit of rhythm of the night.
Coming up on AT&T at the half, Adam Zucker, Danny Granger, Gary Parrish, and John Rothstein are back at our New York studios. They'll get you up to date on everything going on in a busy college basketball night. All that and more coming up on AT&T at the half. Well, the two fellas that we talked about in our open, Justin Tillman and Tyler Kavanaugh, like everybody else in this ball game, they haven't really gotten rolling offensively.
Yeah, Tillman hasn't logged heavy minutes in the first half. He's played 10 of the, 16 we've had so far, so he hasn't really had the chance for a rhythm. Now, Kavanaugh, as I look at it, he's played a few more minutes. He needs to find a way to assert himself, and I think it starts on the low block. Offenses like to go inside to work themselves out. The same is applicable for the star for the Colonials. He needs to start down low on a block, get some easy ones, get to the free throw line like he is here, then work the outside game angle.
Makes the first free throw. Maurice Joseph has leaned on Kavanaugh this year for more leadership. Kavanaugh said today when we talked to him, he said, I kind of knew that coming in after being the MVP of the NIT tournament last year. He has 6 points after making those two free throws.
Know what's most important if you're a Colonials fan? Kavanaugh's managed to stay out of foul trouble, playing clean basketball, in it for the long haul, which is huge.
Which he told us he needed to do. Toro picks up another foul.
Yeah, he got him with the arm bar. He slid, he moved, he did half the job, but he kept that right arm down while the other one up to keep him from getting to the rim. You got to cheat in a certain kind of way to keep Ali Cox from getting to the rim. He's that physical, but you can't do it that blatant.
Tillman and Lewis check back in. Lewis, boy, that was a long-range three, no good. 7th rebound for Kavanaugh. EW leads it by 3. You see the team fouls for both squads. VCU is now 2 of 11 from beyond the arc.
That's exactly what you want coming into this one. Make them jump shooters.
Kavanaugh in the paint, backs it against Tillman, no good. Gets his own rebound, and the putback is good.
That's what Kavanaugh needs to play this game. Challenge that front line. He has the physicality to really disrupt things down low. He can score it down there time and time again. George Washington has to make that the focal point.
Tillman only his 3rd shot of the night. Cena will trot it up the floor for the Colonials.
Go right back down low to Kavanaugh. Play high-low with Marfo, whatever you need to do. Get Kavanaugh in touch and isolate him.
Backing in against Tillman again. Double team finds Marfo, and it's blocked by Mo Ali Cox. And Marfo's second attempt is no good.
Took too long to power up. Catch and lay it in. You don't have to dunk it. 2 is 2. Took too long to power up. Allow the defense to recover.
Lewis, little penetration out to Williams. Williams to the basket. Shot is blocked. Loose ball picked out of the air by Marfo.
Same thing. You're at that crossroads. You're at an impasse. You got to establish Kavanaugh once again. Look to build, methodically going to half, and he's your best ticket. Challenge Tillman down low.
Under 2 minutes to play. VCU shooting just 23%. Here's Kavanaugh for 3 again. This time no good. And Marfo is going to be called for the foul.
I like this. The key to success offensively, Kavanaugh in isolation, nobody around. Tillman gives up on the play. Kavanaugh, the relentless motor, does not. Advantage Kavanaugh, a fist pump to let you know he likes it. But that's the difference. In a possession like that, you can take a peek at what makes Kavanaugh so good. Stick-to-itiveness. He doesn't give up on a play, whereas Tillman figured, I got the stop, I did enough. Hands down, Kavanaugh doesn't relent.
Here's Mo Alley-Cox, the front end of the 1-and-1. 2 points from 1,000, converts the first. Will Wade has already watched Jaquan Lewis reach 1,000 points. As Bolden checks back in, Marfo out. Steves is back in as well. Mo Alley-Cox with a second shot, and it's good. That's 1,000 points for Mo Alley-Cox. Congratulations to him. He becomes the 37th Ram to reach that milestone. I thought it might be with a dunk, but he gets the 2 free throws.
He's evolved this game. He wants to show you it all out here. Big fan of that guy's game. Bright future, whatever sport he decides to play. Whether it's on the hardwood or whether it's football. A gifted and blessed athlete. Key word, though, he has the work ethic. Work ethic.
1:35 to play. GW up by 3. Here in the first half of our Wednesday showcase. Shot clock winding down. Bolden hasn't given up the basketball until that shot. And Kavanaugh runs down the rebound. Kavanaugh making a double-double in this first half. 8 points, 9 rebounds for Kavanaugh. Steves, the transfer from Harvard, backing his way in, getting a little too high. 5 on the shot clock. Kavanaugh battling for the loose ball, and it's picked up by Steves, who gets it back up top. Here's Watanabe in the paint. Whistle blows, and Mo Alley-Cox is called for the foul as Kavanaugh goes to the floor.
I mean, if you could go back and just trail the action of Kavanaugh throughout that entire sequence, just never giving up on the play. On the tail end here, Kavanaugh, one sees the ball goes up from Watanabe, tries to make another play offensive rebounding-wise. Alley-Cox just hits him with that forearm, but it's a good call. All it takes is a little shot. That body goes flying. Kavanaugh's a big guy, too.
36 seconds to play here in the first half. Steves free throw line, peeking down low. Into the paint, curling to the basket, no good. And a rebound by Tillman and the foul by Kavanaugh. With 25 seconds to play here in the first half. It'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity.
Again, only Kavanaugh's first foul of this contest. So Colonials fans were nervous coming in with this physical Rams team and how they play on both ends. Get this guy into foul trouble, put him on the bench, much like the first contest. They got blown out by 30. He's been able to stay in the game, and that is why this team is holding on.
Tillman makes the front end of the 1-and-1. Make sure to join the Coaches versus Cancer 3-point challenge. Join your team. Make a pledge, beat cancer. Pledge now at 3pointchallenge.org. Mo Alley-Cox with the rebound off the missed free throw. Shot clock is off. Game clock is at 20. We're just going to let it run down and maybe take this last shot, huh? Maybe call a timeout.
Get a timeout to talk about it, right?
Will Wade wants the right offensive set. We'll see what he puts together when we come back. VCU basketball with 15.5 to play. All right, so they call the timeout. What are they looking for with this last shot?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if George Washington defensively goes with a 2-3 zone to make them have to think it in these next 15.5 seconds. They will. They're going to try to hope to force another 3 from the Rams, whereas Rams are going to get a high ball screen for Lewis, allow him to get inside that paint and make something happen.
Jaquan Lewis, the best three-point shooter for the Rams.
It is a 2-3 zone look from George Washington.
It's high. Game clock down to 4. Lewis off the screen. Game clock at 1. Tries the shot, no good. And that's probably not the look that they wanted to finish up this first half.
Kudos to Coach Joseph. A heck of a game plan defensively. Utilize that zone. Try and disrupt an offense at VCU's that likes to pound it down low. They haven't been able to find the gaps and exploit it. George Washington has done the job defensively to hang in here this evening.
That was a pretty stern look by Will Wade, whose team is down to 23-21 as we reach halftime. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Tom, thanks. Maurice, we saw both teams go through some dry spells offensively. What was the best version of your offense in that first half?
I thought we were going inside out. I thought we got a little jump shot happy a little bit there. We took about 3 or 4 threes that we didn't want to take. I was trying to yell to go inside. We're a lot better shooting the ball when we play inside out.
You've been in this position before with a young team. How do you avoid allowing VCU to reclaim this lead and take this game from you?
We got to take care of the ball. We got to play it in segments. You know, we got to play 4 minutes to 4 minutes to 4 minutes. We got to play it in segments. We can't look too far down the line. We got to worry about every possession and treat it like it's our last. If we can do that, we can be successful.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Evan, thank you very much. 23-21, GW's on top of VCU. Coming up after the break, we'll send you back to our New York studios for AT&T at the half. You're watching the Wednesday Showcase on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
All right, we are at the half between VCU and GW as the Rams try to move into a tie for first in the A-10. Adam Zucker along with Danny Granger, Gary Parrish, John Rothstein over there. And besides Mo Alley Cox joining the 1,000-point club, I know there's much rejoicing. Right now, the Rams are down 2.
The VCU is playing with fire, and when you play with fire, you might get burnt. And the reason why they might get burnt, Tyler Cavanaugh. Tyler Cavanaugh has been sensational for GW in the first half. This is not a finesse game in our nation's capital. It is a rock fight, a dangerous 20 minutes ahead for VCU as they hope to advance once again to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
This would not be a good loss.
Not a lot of finesse these days in our nation's capital, so I think it kind of goes with what we've seen recently. All right, elsewhere around the country, number 6 Baylor first. All right, tonight in the A-10, St. Bonaventure. Of course, VCU fans know about that controversial finish up in Olean. Well, Jalen Adams, his 13th game with at least 20, and they get a win by 15. LaSalle winning at Fordham, so St. Bonaventure and LaSalle staying tied for 4th. George Mason winning at Davidson. Marquise Moore, he's listed at 6'2". He has 14 double-doubles, and those are rebounding double-doubles. A look at the standings. Dayton, a half game up on VCU right now, of course, with another Rams team right behind them, followed by Richmond. But from Richmond on down, these RPIs are approaching 100, if not worse. And, of course, the big game on Friday, John, Dayton against URI, who's won 6 of 7 now.
URI controlling its own destiny, because when you look at URI down the stretch right now, they have Dayton and VCU on their home floor. They already have a neutral court win over Cincinnati. That puts them in position to advance the NCAA tournament if they handle their own destiny. But Dayton is also on an upward trajectory. And a big thing to keep an eye out right now for Dayton, Josh Cunningham, who suffered an ankle injury early in the season in a win at Alabama, was in uniform against St. Joseph's. He's been practicing. A Dayton official told me he could have went into the game. That's a big storyline to watch, as Dayton may get a starter back, already the team to beat in the league right now.
You mentioned Rhode Island's win over Cincinnati, and that is a tremendous non-league win. It's about all they got right now, though. It is the only top 50 RPI. So here's the good news for Rhode Island. Top 35 RPI, that gets you on the selection committee's radar. But on Selection Sunday, you better have quality wins. They got an opportunity to get one Friday night.
All right, second half of our game coming up, a 2-point game right now.
It is a 2-point game, and VCU, like he said, they better step it up. They should have one more loss than what they have right now. So you don't want to push it.
No, you don't want to push it, and they've got to find a way to get some easy baskets. This VCU team does not score the ball well. That has to change in the next 20 minutes.
All right, GW, just tell your security guard, don't touch the ball at the end if needed. Second half on the way.
Well, we spoiled you with the first game of our Wednesday showcase, UConn and USF, because UConn had a school record 16 threes. It's not the same story between VCU and GW, 23-21 at the half. Hi, everybody. Tom McCarthy along with Jordan Cornette. We'll hear from Evan Washburn in just a little bit. All right, so offensively, neither team has really gotten things rolling, but we have seen Tyler Cavanaugh play a pretty good first half. He's already in double figures in rebounds.
Yeah, Tyler Cavanaugh has to be the guy in the second half for this team. They have to find a way to get him more looks. How do you get him more looks? Isolate him on the low block, Tom. You got to find ways to generate offense. It starts with your star and putting him in sweet spots. Isolate him. Look, he clears the guys out himself. He's an extension of coach. And then look at the elite spacing. He's got a one-on-one opportunity with Tillman. Why? His guys give him room to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys outside. One-on-one basketball. The more physical Kavanaugh has the advantage. Doesn't get the first time. That's cool. I'll stick with it. Gets the basket to go. Almost a double-double in the first half. He has to be the go-to force here in the second half. The Colonials want to pull it off.
All right, take a look at the first half statistics for VCU. They're thankful that they're 7 of 8 from the free throw line because that's why they're within 2, but they only have 8 points in the paint. Will Wade told us earlier today that he wants to be 12 points better than GW. Speaking of Will Wade, Evan Washburn caught up with the VCU head coach.
And Tom, that's where we started. Shot selection, 2 for 11 from 3. That's not what Will Wade wants. He says we need to set up some specific plays against that zone to get the ball inside. As for the offensive glass, that's an area of concern as well. Obviously, just a better job boxing out. And lastly, guys, Jaquan Lewis, we saw a limited role from him in that first half. He said it was mostly due to that early foul he picked up. His point, he'll get it going here in the second half.
And Jaquan Lewis of the first half, 0 for 4, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc. But VCU will get the basketball to begin the second half from the Smith Center on the campus of George Washington. Same starting 5 for VCU. Dowdy, who had an early 3, tries to sweep it to Tillman, and a holding foul is called against George Washington. We're going to get Jared Cena, who's there to help for that foul.
You've got to expect a double, especially with a scorer like Tillman on the catch. I thought he may have shuffled his feet before the contact. Switch pivots. Lets the guys know on the floor if there's a wet spot. I think that's what the issue is. I think the wet spot caused him to switch pivots. I think it was a travel before the contact.
Well, as they clean that up in the first half, VCU's 3 double-figure scores, or a combined 2 of 9 from the floor. Watch it again. The inbounds goes way up top to Doug Brooks. Lewis off the screen, bounce pass to Mo Alley Cox. Little 2-man game going on. Mo Alley Cox trying to get a fader, no good. Tillman's putback is good. Oh, that's a sweet stroke from Justin Tillman.
Well, he's got a good feel at that 6 to 8 foot range. That's one of the toughest shots in college basketball. But again, the offensive glass, George Washington must keep him off.
VCU pressuring off of the made basket. And Brooks is going to be called for the foul. Tillman is so active.
Yeah, don't necessarily like Mo Alley Cox not going after him but fading, but Tillman with his length, his athleticism, able to corral the basketball. And like great offensive rebound scores, he goes right back up with it. Doesn't think about what he wants to do with it.
And Maurice Joseph, the head coach of GW, was praising Tillman earlier today at shoot-around. He said the guy just works hard, and that is part of his game and why he's been so successful lately. Toro into the paint, and a blocking foul is called on Lewis. And Toro is going to get a couple of free throws.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, talking about Tillman going back, you could argue he's emerged as their best player. I mean, he's been their most consistent. He impacts the game in a lot of ways, whether it's defensively, giving you early offense, scoring the basketball, rebounding. Does a lot for this team.
Toro makes the first free throw. By the way, that foul on Lewis, you heard Evan talk about the first half foul in the first couple of minutes. That was his only one in the first half, so he has 2 for VCU. And Toro rattles home the second free throw. I think we're going to have some lead changes in the second half.
It's going to be tight.
Lewis left side, left-handed shot. Tillman with the offensive rebound. Tough putback. And Kavanaugh's there to clean it up for GW. Tillman knew where the rim was the way he was falling back toward the baseline.
Not only is he long, but he's got good hands, so it allows him to catch balls you wouldn't expect him to get to.
Bolden can't get the shot to go, and Kavanaugh has a shot blocked out of bounds.
Not to be lost in all this time, offensive rebounding for George Washington. They've done a fantastic job at double figures already on the offensive glass, giving themselves second chance opportunities. Now look, you can easily say these teams are missing so much, somebody's got to rebound it. Sure, but it also speaks to the fight of both teams.
The block by Mo Alley Cox into the hands of Cena. Shot clock is at 7. Bolden finally realizes pull-up jumper is good. And in transition, here comes VCU. Doug Brooks in the paint, no good. Kavanaugh pinballs the rebound. Picked up by Mo Allen Cox, who's caught underneath. Nice pass to Tillman, who leans it in off the front of the rim. A little different offensive pace in the second half than the first half. Watanabe's had a quiet night. Yeah, Cena open from the corner. Good! Honestly, Bolden could have shot it if he wanted to.
Yeah, just a good feel knowing that he had a catch-and-shoot guy waiting in the corner and Cena.
Dowdy slices through the defense to lay it in. It's a three-point game. GW up by 3, 30-27. Bolden dribbles that one off the leg of Doug Brooks and out of bounds.
Love the thinking here from a freshman guard in Bolden. You know, he had a clean look himself, couple dribbles, pull up two. Saw a greater opportunity with the three. Feed, set, catch, and shoot from Cena. You can count it.
Shot clock did not reset as that ball was knocked out of bounds. And Bolden just dribbled that ball out of bounds, but it's last touched by Dowdy with 4 on the shot clock. It's here Dowdy saying, I didn't touch that one last. It hit his leg. All right, where are you going to throw this inbounds if you're Watanabe?
If you can find a way to get Kavanaugh down low.
Shot clock started a little too quick. I think if you're Maurice Joseph, you're a little upset about that because you had the guy in position to get the ball. And now you might see VCU change it a little bit defensively.
Also, why are you running the clock in your home court too soon?
Watch the shot clock. Ball goes to Watanabe. And it started just before the ball came in bounds. I'm a little surprised they're only going to put 1 second back on the shot clock. I thought they'd put it back to 4 and just start it again.
Yeah, you would think.
Toro, Watanabe, 2 on the shot clock, no good. And Jaquan Lewis comes out with the rebound.
Watanabe just not in rhythm. That's actually the best look you could get in the circumstance.
Brooks trying to get the 3 to go down. Ball out of bounds. Last touch by Mo Allen Cox.
Again, make the Rams jump shooters and keep them off the backboard. Fantastic sequence for the Colonials. Now they got to look to be opportunistic and capitalize.
Kavanaugh off the near steal, pulls up for 3, banks it home. 11 points, 12 rebounds for Kavanaugh. He meant to do that, right?
Yeah, just gotta play it cool. Come back like, that's what I want. I want a little bit of glass. It's Horace, turn up the ante.
GW has stretched this to the largest lead of the night, but Dowdy then answers from the corner for VCU.
Cena got a little aggressive with the dig down, trying to force a turnover of Allie Cox, and he completely left his man wide open for the baseline. Poor form on the double down.
Yeah, I think that GW understands there's only a couple of guys that they can't leave open. Dowdy's one of them. Oh, man, Bolden. You know, earlier Dowdy had the bucket, and we said one freshman to another, and that's exactly what just happened there.
30-point loss at VCU. A, because it was at VCU, but B, you didn't have 2 guards in a lineup in Bolden and Cena. Now you do, and Bolden's playing big-time basketball at that point slot.
Outlet pass to Watanabe. Watanabe 0 for 5 tonight. Cena trying to draw the defense. So Jaquan Lewis, quick hands with the steal. The floor to the corner, Dowdy again. This one a little too strong. Watanabe a little out of control and is fouled at midcourt. That may be an intentional foul. Just a common foul. Well, from beyond the arc.
It may be after bank hours, but don't tell Kavanaugh his transaction was completed. And on the other end, Dowdy, never leaving any Dowdy with that one for distance. And answer, the clapback.
Nobody comes into this house without paying the price.
Not here, not ever.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Nobody comes into this house without paying the price. Not here, not ever.
Well, did you get it?
More people save money by combining their home and auto with State Farm. Here to help life go right. State Farm.
At Jared, we turn feelings into jewelry. Jewelry that tells her she's the best thing that's ever happened to you in a way that goes beyond words. It could be a piece jewelry designers created just for Jared, or a piece we custom made just for you. Because we're more than a store that's...
The moment you realize, how could there possibly be this many blues?
Don't worry. At Lowe's, we guarantee you'll always love your paint, or we'll replace it.
Hurry into Lowe's where you'll find new lower prices, like paint and primer starting at only $17.98.
Life happens everywhere, like it never even happened. Only happens here. The cleanup and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO and ServPro.com.
Well, if preseason practice wasn't enough for the Colonials baseball team, they planted themselves right behind the VCU bench, and they've been into this game from the get-go, part of the whiteout here tonight at the Smith Center. Well, they've ruled this Kavanaugh bank 3 as a 2 as they reviewed it during our timeout. And you know what? They got it right.
Yeah, he's left his footprints in this game with his performance, and he left him on a 3-point arc right there. I agree with the call.
Kavanaugh will take a breather, not because of foul trouble, just to take a breather. He has 13 rebounds, which ties his season high. His career high is 17. GW maintaining a 4-point lead. Man-to-man defense by VCU. Shot clock is at 7. Balled into the basket and drops it out of bounds. They say it was touched last again by VCU. So 5 on the shot clock. They set the screen for Colin Smith. It looked like he went the wrong way. They get it into Steve. Shot clock is at 3. Finally realizes it. Down to Smith. Bank shot no good. And Tillman high in the air with the rebound. 8 rebounds for Tillman. Burgess open for 3. Good.
Got to know your personnel. Again, if you're going to dig down, understand that Burgess is one of the few guys who's a gifted 3-point shooter. You can't leave him all alone. That dig has to be done with discretion. It can't be an all-out dig down to leave a guy open like that.
VCU is pulled to within 1. Steve's backing his way in. And he gets a friendly bounce off that rim. Steves, who was so injured at Harvard, transfers here to GW. He only played 1 year at Harvard. He's got 2 years of eligibility after graduating from Harvard to play here as a graduate.
Just another one of those bodies on that front line they can throw out there. They have about 4 or 5 with George Washington, so they are equipped to compete with the physical Rams front line and team in general.
Shot clock at 4, now 3. Williams in the paint, gets the left-hander to go. That was a nice shot.
Big time move. Williams is such a physical guard, like a running back with the basketball, bounces off guys, quick first step, and capable finisher amongst the trees because he has that floater to his game.
He has 4 points. Steves backs in against Tillman. Steves feeling it a little bit. Tillman battling for the rebound. He had it, and the foul is called on Smith. So let's take a look at this Williams drive with the shot clock winding down.
It's never out of control. He's got a good feel, a couple cerebral dribbles, but the blow-by, Watanabe at 6'9", it's hard to keep up with a compact athlete like that, able to finish at the rim. He's just good maneuvering, changing pace, changing gears when the time calls.
Williams, who was a starter for a good portion of this A-10 season, coming off the bench the last 4 games. And now VCU is going to try to take the lead, down by 1. Hamdi in the same neighborhood as Mo Alley Cox, but he's able to get it to go, and VCU does take the lead. 37-36. First lead since the Rams were up to 14-12. Kavanaugh for 3. And Watanabe able to lay it back in.
It's a big-time finish because it combats the momentum shift. Tempo was starting to play in the Rams' favor, speeding up the game, which is not bode well for George Washington. The ability to score the basketball there keeps him at bay somewhat. It keeps tempo at a steady pace.
Get 2-3 zone by GW. And a traveling violation called on Hamdi. Well, this has certainly turned into a back-and-forth affair. We've had 5 different lead changes.
Yeah, they've done it inside, they've done it outside. Hamdi, some congestion. He's able to digest and finish. Then if at first you don't succeed, how about a little help from your friends? Watanabe with the finish. We've got a battle here in D.C.
The average age of a homeless person is 9 years old. My dream is to help kids living on the streets with education.
Charles, what's up, buddy?
Have we helped? Oh, man.
Is that a basketball player?
Yes. Wow. How you doing?
Kevin Durant.
My heart about to jump off my chest, man.
Charles, you ought to be proud, man.
I'm just extremely grateful they were here, giving them some encouragement. That's something that these kids are going to remember for a lifetime.
You see his big old feet?
Oh.
Every team has a goal. Every team makes a plan. But only one team in the world has what it takes to succeed, no matter what gets in their way. Find out more at goarmy.com/team.
The moment you realize, how could there possibly be this many blues?
Don't worry. At Lowe's, we guarantee you'll always love your paint, or we'll replace it.
Hurry into Lowe's where you'll find new lower prices like paint and primer starting at only $17.98.
Welcome to Stouffer's Fit Kitchen. Prime cuts of meat, 25 grams of protein, and savory mouth-watering sides. It's the perfect balance of delicious and nutritious, making it just the right fit for you. Stouffer's Fit Kitchen meals. This is fit.
VCU's bench has done a nice job tonight to keep the Rams within 138-37. Attention, bracket fanatics. For the first time ever, we're giving you a real-time glimpse into the committee's thought process of the 4 top seeds from each region of the bracket. Don't miss NCAA March Madness bracket preview. Saturday at 12:30 Eastern, only on CBS. And speaking of the brackets, let's take a look at tonight's Golden Corral. Hungry for a bid. So Rhode Island's got that matchup against Dayton. That is a huge matchup for them if they're thinking about an at-large bid.
Big-time matchup. And Rhode Island, as I see it, could be that 3rd team to get a bid out of this conference. You look at Kansas State. Kansas State's another intriguing team. They've gotten that win over Baylor. They have a tough stretch coming up. Played Kansas close, but have some other opportunities in conference. And then Indiana. They've been plagued with injury, no question. James Blackman returns for this team. Can they get enough done in that Big Ten, which is down this year, to earn a berth? But I'm most intrigued by Rhode. Rhode Island is a team with Hassan Martin now back at full strength. They will get Jarvis Garrett back. A lot of pieces in a dangerous team that could be a second weekend type squad.
GW up by 1 with the basketball. Rollins. They're running the shot clock down. Bolden has it out front. Up the screen from Kavanaugh, who's open for a moment, then steps to his left with 3 on the shot clock. He's a little short and indecisive on that jumper.
Indecision cost him. He had to look the first time. He had to look the second time. The 3rd time, paralysis by analysis.
Well, Cox got a little bit of a daylight move and is able to get it to go.
Nimble with his footwork, patient with the basketball, doesn't rush it, waits for the advantage.
6.6 rebounds, 6 lead changes now in this game. foul and the basketball along the baseline for GW. Evan, I know you had a chance to listen to Maurice Joseph's huddle. What did he have to say?
Well, the main priority is pace. He wants his team to play with pace, but not rush, if you know what I mean. You could see them run that shot clock down on the offensive side. And then defensively, you just saw it. They sprinkled in some man. Don't be surprised if you see some more of that down the stretch here.
All right. Trail it by 1 with the basketball.
And Evan touches on a great point there, highlighting that fact that you want to massage the tempo of this one. You want to play fast, but you don't want to play too fast because VCU will take the reins of this game and command it. So you want to manage pace, and that means slow when it calls for it and fast and opportunistic moments.
Dowdy off the glass with his one hand. He had a wall along that right block. VCU is up by 3. 10 points for Dowdy, the redshirt freshman.
Can't get too far away from Kavanaugh.
Rollins jumper off the mark. Omni with the rebound. VCU has hit its last 5 shots. Williams has it blocked. And the ball is on the baseline. I'm really impressed with how composed Dowdy has been for VCU. Double figures in 4 of his last 5 games.
And a lot of that growth has come on the road in some tough environments. He's got a good feel, a solid mid-range with distance to it, too.
Dowdy a little too high with that pass. Moelle Cox was off balance. Neither team has really turned it over that much.
Got Kavanaugh all alone on the other side of the floor.
I mean, his hands are as high as they could be. And now a coach's box warning against Will Wade.
You talk about a missed opportunity for G-Dub. I mean, Kavanaugh was doing his best Macaulay Culkin impersonation. My man was home alone on the other side of the floor.
Steves checks out. Toro checks in for GW. Here's Rollins. Shot clock at 5. Cena gets Moelle Cox to shift, and he's able to get it to go from 17. 8 points for Jaren Cena. Again, the bench has been a lift for VCU. And they have 3 bench players in the game right now.
Those bench players have mainly been Hamdi at the top of the key. That's where you break down the defense. The mid post, collapse the defense, but you got to drive it. You can't just kick it out. You got to be a threat.
Burgess has made a couple of threes, but that one was a line drive. That's 14 rebounds now for Kavanaugh. 17 is his career high. This is a season high. Watanabe, that is a tough shots.
You want to make Watanabe a right-handed driver. His left hand is his strong hand. You allow him to wheel around and go to his strong suit. You got to make him play off that offhand, force him right. He doesn't have a strong right hand.
Will Wade told his team at shoot-around today, remember what has gotten you to first place. They're a half game behind the Dayton Flyers, who lead the conference. Those turnovers are not what has gotten them to first place.
I'll tell you what, that might have been a goaltend we might have to talk about coming out. This one has been back and forth without question. Rolling the kick out, Cena the head fake to get Allie Cox dancing, and he hits it, making some big-time plays, and he's getting help from another star who's gaining strength here late, the lucky lefty with a tough floater.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point I did change to a different company with car insurance and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
I want you to visualize the future because we will make history. Together as a team, we have the power to beat cancer. It's a tough opponent, but it's been done before. Over 15 million survivors prove it. We have the courage, we have the will. Now we need you on our team. Join the Coach's 3-Point Challenge by pledging to donate for every 3-pointer scored during the season. With your help, we will beat cancer. Come play for us. Help Coaches vs. Cancer and the American Cancer Society build a stronger team against cancer.
Whether it's connecting one of the world's most innovative campuses or bringing Wi-Fi to 65,000 fans, businesses count on communication, and communication counts on CenturyLink. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Fire means flavor with Golden Corral's new Fresh Fire Grill. Every Monday to Thursday, enjoy new savory lemon rosemary sirloin, Cajun smoked sausage, and tropical mango chili lime fish. Dinner's just $11.99, only at Golden Corral.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed our Wednesday showcase between GW and VCU. We've got 7:54 left to play in the second half and a whole lot more to come. Here are tonight's Geico difference makers. You can probably guess Dowdy, 10 points on 4 of 7 from the floor and 3 rebounds, evolving as a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, you haven't gotten it from Jaquan Lewis, but it's been the younger talent who's stepped up and given his team what they've needed. He's really managed the game well. Then you look on the other side, a freshman in Jair Bolden. They said he was going to have to be a guy who absorbed the pressure, who made plays. Not only has he done a good job taking care of the basketball, this team only 6 turnovers against the pressure from VCU, but he's been in attack mode, scoring the ball as well.
And I think the thing about Bolden that stood out is that they wanted a pressure in VCU, and they have, but he's been able to handle it with some help from Cena in the backcourt.
Absolutely. Cena's made some plays to alleviate some of that pressure.
Rowland, who was fouled going into the break, misses the first free throw. He's 72% from the line. And he makes the second one. 2-point lead for GW. (43-41), 7:45 to play here in the second half. Tillman and Mo Cox usually have a pretty good high-low game. Brooks' pull-up jumper is no good, and Tillman's putback is off the mark, but he was fouled. And it looked like Toro was just coming under him.
Yeah, Toro has to understand when that ball goes up immediately, he has to locate the body, especially Tillman, or if it's Ali Cox. One of the two, you got to hit the body and push them out immediately. If they're able to hang around with their length and their level of physicality, they're going to get a hand on the ball.
Well, that's the third foul on Toro, so he checks out. Smith is in. Dowdy for 3 off the inbound. He's been good with some shots. He's been off a little bit with some of those threes.
They have given George Washington an opportunity by their falling in love with the three-point shot. It's not their strength. The trenches are. VCU needs to make a concerted effort to go down low every time here down the stretch.
They're 4-17 from beyond the arc. Here's Kavanaugh with his left hand over the top of Tillman. And it's a 4-point lead for the Colonials. 7 minutes to play in the second half. 12 points, 14 rebounds for Kavanaugh.
Tom, you got to ride Kavanaugh down the stretch. He's the advantage you have offensively. He gives you an opportunity.
Tillman had a really tough angle from just inside the left block. I think we were all looking forward to that matchup, Tillman and Kavanaugh. GW's had a number of close games, including the Rhode Island game, where they were leading Rhode Island for most of it. But up at the Riley Center, Rhode Island was able to pull out the victory. Marfo. And Tillman with the board. 11 rebounds for Tillman. But he wants it down low, too. Lewis bounce pass to Tillman, and he just short with the lay-in. How about today's shoot-around? How many times did Will Wade say, well, you lay it in, and he screamed it as loud as he could. Watanabe's 3 is too strong. And the turnover tipped by Kavanaugh. 10 turnovers now for VCU.
That is a terrible decision from an experienced player, Lewis, who should know better. There was no needle to be thread there. The defense perfectly in place.
One of the big differences for VCU is that they're averaging 17 turnovers per game on the road. They've given up some hefty scoring totals on the road as well. Kavanaugh's jumper off the mark. Marfo with the rebound and stripped away by Tillman. Now Jaquan Lewis will slow it down as much as VCU does slow it down. Healy turned it over again. He did. Here comes Watanabe. High step into the basket, and Dowdy fouls him.
Lewis out of rhythm. Careless with the basketball. Again, trying to thread another needle. Active hands. Shocked there's no flagrant technical intentional foul, called there.
I thought there were a couple of occasions tonight where they could have called intentional. That one.
I mean, you made no effort on the ball. You just grabbed it.
You grabbed the body.
We weren't trying to hurt him, obviously, so there's no flagrant involved, but it was an intentional foul to prevent a layup in the open floor. You got to blow the whistle.
Well, Dowdy is called for his third foul. Under 5 to play here in the second half. Rollins bumped by Doug Brooks. And that will send Rollins to the free throw line. 3 fouls on Brooks. 17 fouls. Now on VCU. And by the way, GW only has 3 team fouls. Rollins 72% for Maurice Joseph. Makes the first. This is the time of the game, 4:43 left to play and counting, where Maurice Joseph has talked about his learning curves, things he's learned, how to finish out games even as a coach. He knew how to do it as a player.
Staying in segments is that key. You're coming to that last media timeout, then you got to manage your own timeouts, how to manage tempo, how to keep this Rams team playing at a steady pace, not allow them to control the momentum or take it away from your team. Control that lead, most importantly, on your home floor.
That's Bolden who checks back in. Rowland checks out. 2-3 zone a lot of the time tonight. And there's the alley-oop by Dowdy. That is ill-advised. Here's Lewis for 3. Good! And we're tied up at 46. And a timeout called by Will Wade. Well, maybe that is the spark that Jaquan Lewis needs.
Lewis hasn't been in it, but when a time calls for it, he makes a play. An errant pass, they leave him alone, not deterred by his early performance. He gets a 3 ball to go.
I'm not the type to say any of this mushy garbage. You know what? I'm going for it. You are completely and utterly
Awesome. I'm glad you showed up.
in my life.
I think I'm about to cry. You better not.
Every single time I get down, you always have my back.
It's really hard to describe. It's like all these tiny little things.
Yes, things.
Are actually friendship.
You always do this. You had a couple of pops in you and got cocky. Who's up for a game of wing roulette, you said? Because you thought it'd be funny to watch one of your friends get stuck with the hot one. But your friends, they got teriyaki, then spicy garlic, and then Asian zing. And now you're looking at the last one and you're thinking, my God, what have I done?
The moment you realize, how could there possibly be this many blues?
Don't worry. At Lowe's, we guarantee you'll always love your paint, or we'll replace it.
Hurry into Lowe's where you'll find new lower prices, like paint and primer starting at only $17.98.
DiGiorno? Hey! Do your thing.
Rise to the occasion. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
Well, we have been tied 6 times in this ball game. This is the 6th. VCU 46, GW 46. The road to the Final Four continues Saturday with another A-10 shootout as these Rams of VCU return home to Richmond to play host to Jack Gibbs and Davidson at 8 Eastern, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Peyton Aldridge, Jack Gibbs, the last time they faced VCU, I did that game and they scored 54 of the team's 69 points. And VCU certainly has to quiet those two.
Yeah, when it comes down to for Davidson, those guys have to be special every time they put on a jersey.
Well, before that, VCU's trying to pull out a victory here. In Tyler we trust, and that has certainly been the case these last couple of years. And in particular tonight, 12 points and 15 rebounds. I thought maybe he would get into politics after his career at GW was over with. He said, no, I'm going to play.
Yeah.
Whether it's here or somewhere else, I'm going to play.
Didn't hesitate to answer. You know, if I'm him, I'm tracking down his classmate, his fan out there in the stands. I'm putting that up in my dorm room. That's a cool look, man. Get that thing framed. There's worse posters in a dorm room. Everyone had the Scarface poster or whatever.
4 minutes to play. Toro left open with the clear out. Can't finish the easy shot. Watanabe with the loose ball.
Again, credit to the Colonials. They've done a fantastic job on the offensive backboard, giving themselves an opportunity time and time again.
17 offensive rebounds for GW.
It's remarkable against this physical front line. VCU, even the guards rebound.
Shot clock down to 10 off the high screen. Cena. Down low to Kavanaugh. Shot clock at 4. Kavanaugh against Mo Alley Cox. Tough left hands. You know that VCU wants to go in the paint, that is. They go to Mo Alley Cox, whose touch is beautiful. And a 2-point lead for the Rams.
Big time move. Patient, didn't force it, had the advantage, gathered himself and elevated. Cannot defend that. Alley Cox takes his time.
Well, you mentioned your keys to the game. The advantage that VCU wanted in the paint. They wanted a 12-point advantage. They have a 10-point advantage right now in the paint.
So many big guys are uncomfortable with the basketball in post and isolation. It's a forgotten art. Gather yourself, finish. That is clinical basketball in a low block. VCU staying in this one. It's what they do.
The road to the Final Four heats up as Butler and Keelan Martin shoot for a win when they travel to Providence, Saturday at 4 on CBS Sports Network.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Super Bowl 50 on CBS.
This is where new heights are reached.
51 touchdowns.
Records set. Memories recorded.
One of the epic performances.
In the not-so-distant future, someone will ask, where were you when you were with us?
Coming up next, our triple header wraps up as we head west for a showdown between the running Rebels of UNLV and Nevada, as prolific scorer Marcus Marshall of the Wolfpack look to keep pace in the Mountain West, only on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. All right, so the leading scorer in the conference, 20.3 per game.
I'll tell you what, I was telling my man Seth Davis preseason, I said, watch out for the Wolfpack. Eric Musselman's guys, they spread you out with those NBA ideals. Guards that are in attack mode, a big fellow who can score it, a new culture there, and that program's winning. They're the gold standard in that conference. They'll be there in March, too.
Toro 2 for 2 from the free throw line. A lot of power behind that free throw. So VCU says, let's calm it down a little bit, up by 2. You going in first before you get it outside?
This is the only thing you should be pursuing is 2-pointers. There better not be another 3 taken from VCU unless it's Lewis with rhythm.
Lewis into the paint, lays it in. He's got 5 in the last 2 minutes.
And that's a leader. Look, it hasn't been an easy night for the guy. He's been shut down like Chick-fil-A on a Sunday, and yet still he's making big-time plays at the end of the game and taking high percentages.
Aggressive man-to-man defense by VCU. Toro high-low with Kavanaugh, and he forces the issue over a smaller in height Burgess.
He buried Burgess, carved out some good real estate. All you got to do is catch and go up. Prime time scoring position play before the catch.
All right, same theory again here, right? Trying to get it inside as much as possible.
Driving lanes or 2-point shots by dumping down to the post. Got Allie Cox isolated.
Shot clock at 5. Well, Allie Cox short, and the foul on Toro.
You hear the boos. It looked like Toro caved the arms. I think I'm okay with it. We have the luxury of the replay. He did barrel him right there. In itself, that should be a foul. Yeah, he got the arm. He caught it. But Allie Cox is so physical, even that initial lean into him should be a foul. It's not called because it doesn't deter the progress in which Allie Cox is making. He's so big. It's like Shaq back in his LSU days. It was like, it got so bad, coach said, put it in the air. Now, Allie Cox doesn't have that option, but he takes a beating down there. Doesn't always get the whistle.
This is the second one, 3-point ball game. Toro, by the way, has 4 fouls, so he's on the bench for GW. Those are the first free throws of the second half for VCU. We probably haven't seen our last. VCU with a 3-point lead over GW.
Everybody knows Enterprise picks you up. But can they solve all my transportation needs? Spoiler alert, they can.
You can buy from Enterprise Car Sales.
Sold. Car sharing. That's alarmingly sensible.
We even rent exotics.
That's good, because sometimes Mama wants to drive like a mother. Big trucks are kind of my jam. You guys make me feel so special.
Like a princess?
Exactly. Rent, buy, or share. How can Enterprise pick you up today?
VCU with a 3-point lead over GW. George Washington with the basketball off the timeouts with 1:42 to play here in the second half. All right, so this game's important because VCU finds itself a half game behind Dayton. Dayton and Rhode Island face off on Friday night. GW, middle of the pack, and they're trying to get away from the middle of that pack.
VCU just wants to keep on winning, as the rest of the teams up top. Be a lot of confusion there. This is shaping up to be one heck of a conference tournament.
Kavanaugh with the head fake, now heads toward the basket. Steves, no look pass to Cena for 3, short. Off the left side of the rim, and Kavanaugh with the rebound, and he's fouled.
Now the wherewithal and the high IQ of Kavanaugh. This thing came off sharply. Great look, great extra pass from Steves. Pristine look for Cena, can't get it. But to know to go up with it. He didn't have that thing naturally in his possession, but he knew that there was contact coming, so he forced a shot to get to the free throw line. That's just a heady play from a heady ball player.
86% from the free throw line, and he misses the first one. Well, he's not 100%, he's 86%, so he's going to miss from time to time. 3 of 5 tonight, 12 points, 17 rebounds, which ties his career high. And he makes the second one to make it a 2-point game. How about this little man-to-man defense by GW?
Yeah, mixing up looks.
At least on the ball.
Yeah, you got a 6'9" defender in Watanabe on Lewis. He always takes the best player, take him out of it. That length will disrupt Lewis.
Dowdy, left side, sweeps it up. Now Lewis off the errant pass, shot clock at 5. Lewis bounce pass to Mo Alley Cox, and it's stripped away by Steves. Shot clock is at 1. Steves may have dribbled it out of bounds.
Great recovery and timing. Steves not the most athletic, but timed it out. Now you got point 1. I think you go upstairs to Allie Cox and hope he can elevate above. Lord Tillman, 2 exceptional athletes, but it's got to be a play at the rim and a loft up above the defense.
Well, they worked on it today at shoot-around. It was Tillman and Mo Alley Cox, as you mentioned, on 2 different occasions.
Here it comes. Oh, great play.
Tillman cannot convert. We're under a minute to play. GW down by 2. And a timeout call by Maurice Joseph. GW down to 1. A 30-second timeout. We'll be back to the Smith Center with VCU on top 51-49. We're actually going to stay here and talk a little strategy about what both teams are going to do. GW with the basketball. I have to imagine Kavanaugh is going to get it at least once, if not twice, offensively.
You know, if I'm playing this, I would say high ball screen for your guard to let him get into the paint. At the same time, 2 screens down low on the low block. The strong side where that guard is going at the top of the key off that screen, dump down simultaneously to Kavanaugh. You'll have him then in perfect receiving position. Then what can Kavanaugh do with it? Look, pressure, it's a privilege. And the fact that George Washington has gotten here, they've executed. They've taken care of the basketball. They've fought like heck down low in the trenches. They've won the rebounding battle. Now you have to establish your star, something that should come easy. It has to be Kavanaugh on the low block. No one else should try and be a hero here.
And just a reminder that the last time these two teams faced each other on the 11th of January, it was 85-55. VCU ran away with that game. Totally different story here tonight.
And that's what they literally did, Tom. They ran away with it. This George Washington team on the road, that's a tough place to win. They were not able to control tempo. They ran away with them. It's like in a relationship, a battle. You don't have trust, you'll never get it back. You don't have that tempo and control against VCU, you will never get it back.
By the way, with 50.8 to play, a reminder too, GW only has 4 team fouls. So if they don't convert here, just think about that. They're going to have to start fouling a little bit. They have to extend this game. Lewis is on Watanabe. Steve's covered by Tillman. Kavanaugh trying to post up against Mo Alley-Cox. And a traveling violation is called. It's only the 3rd turnover of the second half for GW.
It's the right call. And it was the right call from Coach Joseph. He wanted to play high-low basketball here. Steve's down low to Kavanaugh. Steve's dragged the pivot.
Oh, sure did.
Dragged the pivot. Love the play call. You had the delivery down low, high-low basketball.
Yeah, so now we mentioned GW only 14 fouls. They have to start fouling. There's a difference of 6.5 between game clock and shot clock. As they just fouled for the first time, that's 5 fouls now. They make that 6 fouls. I believe Watanabe will be called for that one. Well, they certainly have climbed back quickly.
Now it's the ability to foul as quickly as possible. So very quick athletes on this Rams team. Lewis almost eluded it on that last attack.
Bounce goes to Tillman. Well, that is the 7th foul. I'm not sure if they needed to do it there, right?
Well, not only that, they had Tillman fouled, and that's the guy they would have preferred to go to the free throw line. But it looks like they're going to say Lewis was the one who was violated, and he gets a chance.
Well, so you go from 83%, which Lewis is, to, or you go from 63%, which Tillman is, to 83%, which Lewis is.
And that's why you saw the frustration for the Colonials. They thought they found the right man. That whistle didn't come soon enough.
Lewis to the free throw line for the first time tonight, converts. Well, that's a big one, but this is even bigger to make it a 2-possession game with still plenty of time left. Misses. It's still a 1-possession ball game with 30 seconds to play.
I pursue a quick 2 and extend this game out with fouls. You don't need a 3.
They're looking for Kavanaugh. He's got it on the far side of the floor. Gave up his dribble awkwardly. They got to get it out of that side of the floor. And a hand-checking foul is called. And it means that Bolden will go to the free throw line.
It's the worst thing you can do defensively for the Rams. You now stop the clock, which is your most loyal friend at this point. And now you've got an opportunity to score with no time going off the clock. Not only that, you make the first one, you miss the second. You got a chance to win the game with the 3.
1 for 2 for the free throw line tonight is Bolden. Just a little too short, not enough legs.
Now, you don't overthink it. You still make the second free throw here, and you foul and you extend it. You don't try and do anything funky like this.
Second shot. He does make it. Boy, that one looks so good. And they tried to foul Lewis, but he sprinted right past them. And finally, they do with 10.2 to play. So Lewis just made one in a minute. We'll find out.
So, if you have a flat tyre, dead battery, need a tow or lock your keys in the car, Geico's emergency roadside assistance is there 24/7. Oh dear, I've got a flat tyre. Yeah, can you find a take where it's a bit more dramatic on that last line, yeah? Yeah, I got it right here.
Someone help me! I have a flat tire!
Oh, it's good for me. What do you think?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
VCU is trying to survive on the road here at the Smith Center in our Wednesday showcase. Maurice Joseph just called his last timeout, so that's to set up the play if Lewis makes one or makes two here.
Yeah, now you're now out of those, so yeah, you have to plan ahead. Pretty much manage the rest of this game as it's going to play out because you don't have the luxury of getting your guys to a huddle.
Well, as you mentioned before, he hit those big free throws at St. Bonaventure. He misses the front end. GW down by 2. 3 seconds to play. To the corner. Watanabe for the win! It is good!
Do not come on the floor. Do not come on the floor. VCU's in position for another potential technical. Amazing. What happened with the clock?
They're going to look at it to make sure that there was no time left as the ball went through. Watanabe wide open.
There's time left on the clock. What happens next with the basketball?
How about that clutch shot, though, to give them a 1-point lead and possibly the victory? The officials are reviewing it to see how much time should be left on the clock. Who would have thought a second straight game?
Guys have run on the floor for George Washington.
And that's a key to
There was no timeout call. Fans have come on the floor. Tom, you're not going to believe this, but you may be looking at another technical foul and a free throw coming. This is potential to be called again for VCU in their second consecutive game. Off a 3. It's literally the exact same situation from St. Bonaventure a night before,
and the
game before.
And the officials did try to get everybody off the floor. The cheerleaders came running on. People started creeping toward the baseline. They are taking a long look at this to see if there was time left on the clock. How about the shot by Watanabe, though?
Oh, big time.
I mean, he has been off the mark for most of this night, particularly from beyond the arc.
I mean, there's no question here. Time is still on the clock.
I agree.
There's no question. This is not a final. There's time left. They're going to assess how much, which is 0.3. And the question becomes, will they be served a technical like St. Bonaventure was in the last game VCU played, which was such a critical thing that was talked about long after.
I think your point, too, about the players coming out as the clock went down.
Yes.
0.3 to play was when the ball went through the net. The officials, led by the referee, Tim Nestor, are reviewing it. And he's got the headset off. And now they'll chat about it for a moment. Watch the clock up top. Ball goes through the net there. Maybe 0.4. I just read the lips of Tim Clougherty, and he's saying 0.4 seconds. All right.
So it's just basketball for 0.4 here.
Now we watched VCU work on this today at shoot-around with 0.5 and 0.4 left.
It's going to have to be a continuous in-rhythm catch and throw. You can't catch, gather like Christian Leitner did with the move and the toss. It's got to be catch and go.
So a timeout called by Will Wade. So the officials have said that they cleared everybody off, and because they had to review it, that's why there's no technical that's being assessed.
Yeah, which was definitely in play, and I would have been absolutely floored if I saw that in consecutive.
It's on your mind, isn't it?
Broadcast. It should be on everybody's head. Now let's talk about this play here, Tom. What you're probably going to see, should go in full court. You'll probably have at the timeline, at the half-court line, a screen, a curl off so a guy can catch with momentum and his shoulders facing the basket. But it has to be a catch and throw. It can't be a catch, gather square, and throw. It has to be simultaneous as your hands grab that basketball to possess it, shooting it at the same time. If you can imagine that process.
Have you ever done that in your life? I know you weren't a three-point shooter, but have you ever done that in your life? Or are you the screener?
With a video game, maybe, but that's about as close as I've come. Now there's an opportunity to get a shot. There's a good chance it's going to be one from half court and clean, but you got to get it off right away.
All right, so Tillman will inbound. He can run the baseline off the made shot. .4 has been put on the clock. And there's going to be a foul called against GW. How about that? They just put Colin Goss, the sophomore who was 6'11", into the game, and he ran right into Jaquan Lewis, who once again will go to the free throw line to try to tie it and possibly win it for VCU.
94 feet away from the basket. And the reason why, I mean, what a heads-up play from Jaquan Lewis. To take the contact and flop. You could argue why make that call that far away. It was a foul.
Well, Jaquan has missed 2 free throws in the last couple of minutes. Front end of the 1-1 is good. We're tied up at 53. You thought Saturday was absurd? Well, this one is going to add to the story of Will Wade's VCU Rams. No timeouts for either team. Lewis converts both free throws, and VCU takes the lead. Substitutions for GW, no timeouts left for either team, and now GW is faced with the same scenario.
The exact same scenario that I just spoke of. However, they don't have a timeout to talk it over. It's just going to probably be a heave here. Coach Joseph can't get a whistle. He's out of timeouts. Can't talk it over with his guys. But the same thing applies. You're probably going to see a heave here from one of the guards.
Well, the heave from the baseline will begin with Rowland. He'll run the baseline, gets it to Bolden for the win. No good, and VCU, for a second consecutive game, in a remarkable fashion, is able to pull out a victory. This one, 54-53 over George Washington. Jaquan Lewis with 2 free throws with .4 to play after the foul called on Colin Goss, who hadn't played a minute of this game for GW. Well, Will Wade said after the game against St. Bonaventure, he said a win's a win. Well, this one was hard fought.
This is a tough one to swallow for a George Washington team. Oh, so far away from the basket. You've got the screen set from Jaquan Lewis. Textbook, yes, it is a foul. You could argue that it's a flop. You could argue it doesn't impact the play. However, it gets him to the free throw line, and Jaquan Lewis again delivers the free throws. Coach Wade just gets on the road, wins these games, and tries to get out of town as quick as humanly possible. Winners close. VCU closed.
Incredible decision by Jaquan Lewis to try to set that screen. Evan Washburn is with Will Wade. Evan?
Well, Coach, another game, another wild finish. I'll let you go here. You're ready to say something.
We're doing a great job for y'all's ratings.
We appreciate that.
CBS Sports Network, man, unbelievable, right? I mean, we're living with the rabbit's foot right now. I mean, it's unbelievable. 2 games like that back to back. Jaquan to step up, make the 1-and-1. He's made the free throws in both, and we're living right. We're living right.
You mentioned Jaquan at halftime. He didn't have any points. I asked you about him, and you said he'll get it going. He got it going. What's it say about him and your team that when clearly you weren't playing your best basketball, you found a way to win?
Yeah, we found a way. I mean, we're a resilient bunch. We're a tough group. We're a tough group. We're a tough group to knock out, but we can't keep living that way.
What are the teaching points you take from this game when you think at the moments that you had to step up, and you obviously did?
Well, I mean, we got a few more stops down the stretch than we had been getting. We didn't execute as well offensively as we needed to, but we'll take it. We'll take it, and we got to get better in those 6-minute situations.
Was that set up to Jaquan to draw that foul? Because it appeared like that was what he was trying to do.
Well, the first option is to draw the foul. The second option is at least so we can clear the defender so we can get an easier home run pass. So something we work on all the time. You probably saw us work on it in shoot around today, and, you know, it worked tonight.
The poise was impressive. Enjoy this one. We'll see you on Saturday.
Thanks.
Guys.
All right, Evan, thank you very much. Boy, the adrenaline rush that Will Wade is feeling right now and the flow of emotions. Why? Because this is an important game for VCU to tie the top spot in the Atlantic 10 with Dayton, both at 9-2 now, and 19 wins for VCU on the doorstep of another 20-win season. But the emotions were a roller coaster because if you're GW, you're thinking you won this game because Watanabe hits an unbelievable 3 with .4 to play. The officials reviewed it, decided that VCU would get .4 to see if they can do it. And then the foul set up by Jaquan Lewis. They worked on it at shoot-around today, and Colin Goss had no idea he was there. He hits the 2 free throws for a second consecutive game. We now send you to Adam Zucker, Danny Granger, Gary Parrish, and John Rothstein in New York.
Oh, Will Wade was right. VCU delivering the ratings. If nothing else, Rams fans, they are learning the rules of basketball lately. They get away with it in St. Bonaventure, wild times. Then they pull off this win here at GW, and you were just gushing about Will Wade's coaching job there at the end. Huh?
Yeah, I was going crazy because it's genius. It's brilliant. You know, not many coaches take advantage of the rule book in every aspect that they probably can. Here, this is just a brilliant heads-up play. You obviously see this was Will Wade's intention for this play, to draw the foul.
Right.
A lot
Option
of
one, draw the foul. Option 2, create a home run pass.
Create the space for the pass. It's just most coaches don't think outside of the box like that. They just think, let's try to throw it down, you know, jack up a shot. He thinks outside of the box, and it's awesome. It was awesome.
Oh, I just love that finish.
Yeah.
VCU is destined to return to the NCAA tournament. To win 2 conference road games like they've won in the last 5 days is a sign that they will be back in the field of 68. And if Rhode Island beats Dayton on Friday, VCU will be in first place in the Atlantic 10.
Literally in the final second of back-to-back games in a 5-day span, they turned sure bet losses into wins. And what it means is they're now tied atop A10 standings with Dayton. Wonderful job, VCU.
They just had a review whether there was time left on the clock. That's what the review was. Our clock says 0. UNLV and Nevada now.